What's up, YouTube, and welcome to Travel Adventures with Eric B. I'm Eric B, and today we're going to talk about 12 things that you should know before you come to London, England. Let's go. The first thing you should know before you even book your flight into London is that the city has 6 airports. No city in the world has more airports than London. But if you're coming from the USA, chances are you're going to be coming in through Heathrow or Gatwick. Heathrow if you're going to be taking one of the big legacy carriers, and Gatwick if you're going to take something like a Norwegian Airlines or one of the smaller carriers to take you into London. And keep in mind, you can take the express, which will get you there faster, the train, but it'll cost more. Or if you're going to Heathrow, you can take the tube and it'll be quicker. Now, Luton Airport, Stansted, and Gatwick are all airports you'll be flying in and out of if you're taking your EasyJets and Ryanairs within the European Union. So that's mainly what that's going to be for. Now, there's City Airport within London, and City Airport has very few options as far as airlines. But the good thing about it is it's the only one that's within the city of London itself, within the city center. So, second thing you should know is that the currency of London is the Great Britain pound. The Great Britain pound for $1 is worth $1.15 currently USD at this moment on September 1st, 2022. So you may want to call your local banks and get some British pounds ready before you even leave. The next thing you should know about the city of London is you should know about the weather. One thing you hear about a lot is the gloomy and rainy weather in London. Now, I will say this. It does get gloomy and it rains a lot out of nowhere in London. And November is the rainiest month. It rains a lot there. Be aware of that if you're going to come in November. Now, July is the hottest month. Now, with that said, July is the hottest month with an average temperature of 71 Fahrenheit. That's not hot at all compared to what I'm used to, but make sure you have the raincoats ready for those. The next thing you should know is that London is very expensive, so you should take advantage of all of the free things, such as exploring the British Museum, one of the greatest and extensive art collections in the entire world of art and artifacts from every corner of the world. The British Museum is certainly one of the top museums that you'll ever go into, and it's absolutely free. And you can donate money to help the museum keep going. And you can explore the city and see Big Ben and Parliament. Go see the Tower Bridge. And every corner of London is full with amazing things that you've seen in the movies, things that you've always dreamed of seeing in person. It's such a beautiful place to go see, including the amazing changing of the guard, which you're going to see in a moment, which I highly recommend that you go see. So there's so many things you can do, including all the amazing green space that you can see in the city as well for absolutely free. The next thing that you should know is you have to one day go see the changing of the guard ceremony at 11 o'clock a.m. outside of Buckingham Palace. The palace is absolutely beautiful. It's stunning, and you have to be there for the changing of the guard. Now, if you want to get a good view, you're going to have to get there early. As I mentioned, at 11. Usually it's around 11:30, I believe, when the marching and the changing actually takes place. But if you're going to want to get a really good view and not be blocked by so many people in front of you, you might want to get there about 9:30 to enjoy it. But this is an absolute must. If you're going to be in the city for a few days, you have to take one of these days and go to Buckingham Palace, which is conveniently located right off of the tube, which is very convenient. You can take the Piccadilly line on the tube and get off on Green Park, and you'll have a short walk to Buckingham Palace. Make sure you get out and check this out. This is must visit. Next thing you should know is that London is a very international city. Now, there's a lot of British isms and a lot of things that you can do that are very, very British in London, but do keep in mind that it's an international city. They had a reputation for a long time for bad food in London and in England in general, but nowadays you can get any type of food that you want in London because it is one of the most international cities in the world. So there's tons of American food. If you want Chinese food, if you want Italian, if you want food from all over the globe, you can get it at London. It's an extremely international city, so keep that in mind. The next thing you should know about the city of London is that it has one of the largest public transportation networks in the world. Obviously, the tube is very impressive, and we'll talk about the tube, but the red double-decker buses themselves will take you extensively all over the city and all the areas around the city will take you pretty much everywhere you need to go to without having to rent a car. But the tube itself is very impressive. I enjoy the tube because not only is it extensive, the tube is also very user friendly. It's not like the New York City subway where it'll confuse the heck out of you. Now, you need to know, though, you need to pick up an Oyster card if you're going to go to the tube. The Oyster card will make the rides a little bit cheaper because if you're just paying as you go, you may be paying upwards of $5 to $6 per ride, which is very expensive if you're just paying as you go. So if you're going to go for any extended amount of time, make sure you pick up an Oyster card and make sure you tap in and out when you leave the stations. There are 12 tube lines covering 272 stations. Over 5 million passengers a day take the tube. So make sure you take advantage of this because, again, when you're in London, we're not used to driving on the left side of the road or anything. So when you get there, one of the best things you can do is take the tube, take the buses. You can get around everywhere. You don't have to worry about renting a car. You don't have to worry about that. So take the tube and walk. It's easy. It's user-friendly. The next thing you should know about London is that they drive on the left side of the road in Great Britain. Now, you will notice on the ground, it will tell you what direction to look in oftentimes, and you'll see signage saying, remember that we drive on the left, because so many people, including most countries in Europe, are not used to driving on the left side. So they want to avoid those wrecks. And when you have to deal with those roundabouts and things like that, you definitely need to be paying attention. The next thing you should know is you should know some British isms, and you should know that British English and American English is not exactly the same thing. So a lot of terms that are used in American English and British English is different. Some of the spellings are different, and you should also know this because if you're going all around Europe, English is pretty much the de facto language. Most all countries in Europe speak a lot of English, especially the younger people because they learn English in school, but they learn British English. So I can give you a perfect example. I'm in a grocery store in Paris, and I ask, where's your trash can? The guy has no idea what a trash can is because in British English, it's a bin or it's rubbish. They don't use the term trash can. And there's a lot of terms that we use in regular, everyday American English. They don't use that in British English. The next thing you should know is that you have to visit the iconic Tower Bridge, get some pictures taken, walk across the bridge. Now, we always see this in images of London. Many people see these images and think that it's the London Bridge, but the London Bridge itself is a very plain bridge, and you'll be disappointed if you go there expecting to see the Tower Bridge. The crown jewels are also on the Tower Bridge. You'll have to pay to go do that. Another thing that you should know about London is you should visit Trafalgar Square and Piccadilly Circus, and I would group these two together because they're basically right in the same area. They're basically one of the same. Now, some people say that Trafalgar Square and Piccadilly Circus is overrated, but if you've never been to London, you definitely need to visit. There's some really awesome, beautiful buildings in this area, lots of places to eat. There's a theater district back there. It's a lot to do here. I highly recommend you definitely go check out Trafalgar Square and Piccadilly Circus. If you've never been to London, this is your first visit. And if you've been here before, I still recommend you come check it out. There's a lot to do. It's lively and it's beautiful. You should know about the pub culture because the pub culture is much different than the bar culture that we have in general in the U.S. So food is big in the pubs in the United Kingdom. It's not just all about just having a pint. Some of the very best food you're going to get there are going to be in pubs. Now, hours may vary. Some open early, close early. Some stay open later. But the pub culture in the United Kingdom is all about hanging out and socializing and having a good. And that's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I ask that you please hit the like, please hit the subscribe button, please hit the bell notification so you can know when I have more material coming out. And as always, remember, live today, grow today, tomorrow's never guaranteed. Peace. And travel. Lots and lots of travel. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit the like, share, subscribe button, leave any comments below. I love to interact and help us to continue to grow as a travel community.